So we are back. I was going to demonstrate how if the tax had been imposed on the consumers, how we would have gotten the same result. Let's just be fast about that. So first thing we need to understand that when taxes are imposed on the consumers, maybe personal income tax, or no, this is even a tax on commodity. So that's an indirect tax. Okay, so you have this is the demand, right, and then this is the supply. So a tax imposed on consumers will shift the demand curve inward. So that's what we have to demonstrate first. So have an idea of what we are supposed to do. So Q is in units, zero, and this is price. So our initial demand curve was from here, where this was 200, and our initial supply curve was something like this, S, and then we had this was 20, and then this was 180. So we expect that now that there is um, a tax of 3 naira per unit on consumers, so um, the demand curve is going to be shifting inward. So we'll be having something like this. Okay. So this is like the D2, and then this was the D1. D, well, let me just call it D, and then this is DT um, tax. So we are just going to like do this. So initially, QD was 200 minus P. So just is like this the same thing we did that time, just that now we are going to be having 2D cos 200 minus, you open the brackets P, because consumers are the one paying the taxes, they are going to be paying more. So this is P plus 3, right? And then QD equals 200 minus P minus 3. QD equals 197 minus P. So make P the subject. So PD equals 197 minus QD. And then by the time we shifted the demand curve due to tax, it was intersecting the old supply curve, right? Okay, so here will be the equilibrium. This is going to be the price that seller is receiving. This is going to be the new equilibrium quantity. And then we trace, if you want to guess the price that the consumers are paying. So we have to like trace this to the old demand curve, just as we did for the supply, where we trace to the old supply curve. So you trace this to the old demand curve, so something like here. Okay, so the price that we get here is the price that the consumers, are paying. So at this point, so the first thing that we need to get is the QD, which you can get from here, from equating this PD for the new demand curve, the inverse demand function of this, and then equating that to the old supply function. So initially the supply function was QS equals to, is this one, I think 140 plus 2PS, right? So just convert the whole thing. I think we had QS equals 140, QS minus 140 equals 2PS, divide through by 2. We already did this the other time. So PS equals to um, um, 0.5 QS minus 70. Okay, I'm not sure we did this the other time. Okay, I think we did it for QD. So divide through by, divide through by 2. This is 0.5 QS, this 70, then, okay, fine. So what we'll now do is we equate the two, PD and this PS. Okay, the PD after tax, um, P plus, okay, I could call this QDT because we've included the tax, and then PDT. So we have to just equate PDT. So let's PDT equals PS. So now we just have to like eliminate the QD, like just stop the disparity between QD and whatever, because we are going to be getting the same quantity anyway, same quantity here. So PDT is so we'll be having 197 minus Q equals to 0.5 Q minus 70, right? So we have 197 plus 70 equals to 0.5 Q plus Q. So from there we have a 197 plus 70, that's 267. So 267 equals to 0.5 Q plus 1 Q, that's 1.5, which is same as 3 over 2. So 3 over 2. Does this sound familiar? Okay, maybe the 2 here 1, 2 here 89. Then Q equals 89 times 2 equals to 178 units. Can you see? Okay, so here we go. We get 178, just as we did the other time. So how do we now get the price that sellers are receiving? So PS, right, is just going to be, we got PS from the old supply curve. From the old supply curve, this is the old supply curve. So where's the old supply curve is where is it? PS equals 0.5 QS minus 70. So PS equals 0.5, 0.5 into brackets 198 and minus 70. Okay, so half of 198 is 89. 89 minus 70, 18, that's 19. So PS is equal to 19. We got 19 that time too, if you remember. So from here to here, it's just one, the appearing burden of one. So how then do we get the PD? So to get PD, we trace it to like the old demand curve. So our PD will be equal to, okay, so the old demand, this was the old demand curve before we added the tax, just QD minus 200 minus whatever. So in fact, you can just use the QD like that. So to obtain um, um, price consumers pay, consumers pay after tax, comma, so the old demand curve. So from the QD equals 200 minus P. So QD is 178 equals 200 minus P. So 178 minus 200 equals minus P. So P equals 22 naira. So P here is 22. So the same thing as what we got that time. So if we calculate the total revenue, is it going to be the same thing? Five. What did we even get? I think I wrote it somewhere. 534. As you calculate it, just the area of this rectangle. Area of this rectangle. 3 yeah multiplied by 178. So what we really want to do in this video, right? The second thing we want to do is to show the impact of subsidy. So a subsidy of 6 naira. So I'm going to erase this. Then we talk about subsidy. So subsidy of 6 naira is imposed on this product. So how does subsidy work? When subsidy is imposed on a commodity, right? Um, this was the supply curve, right? And then demand. We had, sorry that the slopes are just changing forever. They're not supposed to be changing like that. You have 180. I know. So was it yeah, 180. So when subsidy is imposed on a product, it causes an increase in supply. Or subsidy is like you giving, it's not like it's actually giving the suppliers money. No. So if this was the old supply curve, right? So now at this same price, they will be able to supply more. S when there's subsidy, and then this is just S. So there's going to be an increase in supply, which is an outward shift of the supply curve, because government has now given them more money. So we expect that since it is 6 naira, right? So we're expecting that the supply curve is going to shift outside by 6. Okay, so the new supply curve now, if this is 20, so we're having like 14, let's say 14, 14. Um, this was selling for 20, so this new one will be selling for 14, something like this. Like we are shifting the subsidy by that amount by 6 naira. So we are shifting the subsidy by 6 naira. So you just I think I want to leave more space. Let's say the curve goes like this. No, actually no. Actually no. Let's leave the former one alone. So it comes. Okay. So the new one is like this. Has to be parallel. It's S plus subsidy. And this was just S. So there is an equilibrium here. There's an equilibrium here. And at that equilibrium, the new supply curve is equal to the old demand curve. So what you get from that side is the price that consumers will be paying. So this will be the price that consumers will be paying. Then you now trace this to the old supply curve. I will trace this to the old supply curve here. So this is the price that the sellers are receiving. So we just trace it. So this is the price that sellers are receiving. Yes, just the same thing. So it's because the new supply curve is intersecting the old demand curve, and then for us to get the price that consumers are paying, it has to be from the demand curve. So that is how we got to know that, okay, how do we get the price that consumers are paying? So it's going to be where the demand function is equal to the new supply curve, the one after subsidy. So how then do we get the price that suppliers are receiving? You just have to trace that equilibrium to the old supply curve, and then we get our answer. So yeah, that's how it works. Then you might be wondering, why is it that I convert to what do you call it now? Why do I convert to inverse demand functions and inverse supply functions? From your normal mathematics, if y equals f of x, if y equals f of x, okay, if you remember, it is y that used to be here and x is going to be here, right? And then for demand functions, for demand graph, it is price that is here, our quantity is here. So it's more or less like saying price is a function of quantity. So price is a dependent variable here, whereas quantity is like the independent variable. But your normal demand function is expressed by saying Q is function of quantity. But for demand, so we used to put price and then we put quantity here. So like it's important that I just convert to show that, okay, the equation that we are using is commensurate with the graph that is sketched. Like I don't know if you get what I mean. So from here, y is f of x, function of x. So y is what we used to put here, then x will be on x-axis. So the same thing, p is already what is here, price. So price is a function of quantity. So it's important that our equation we convert it back to how to what to having p as the dependent variable and then q as a dependent variable. Okay, so that's being said, we are now going to be having for the supply curve. We remember q equals 140 plus 2p. So q after subsidy is going to be equal to 140 plus 2 into brackets p plus 6, because the government is actually giving them the subsidy. Okay, so into bracket p plus 6. So qs, so I want to see, is the 06, like, is it that the price of the commodity will reduce by 6 for the consumers to buy? Let's see how it works. Okay, so you have 140 plus 2p plus 12. So um q of subsidy, um okay, q is just normal quantity. So no, qs already is quantity supply. So let me call it qss. So this is now equal to 140 plus 12, 152 plus 2p. So we are trying to make p the subject. So qss minus 152 equals 2p. So then P will be equal to half of QSS. Is it minus or plus? Okay, minus 2 in 150, 75. So 76. Yeah, 76. So having gotten this, we now have to equate it to the old demand function. And so what we have to do there is to also find the inverse of that. So we know that the demand function Q, recall, okay, that's QD equals to 200 minus P. So P equals 200 minus QD, right? So all we just have to do is this is called this PD. So we have P, this is PSS now. So PSS equals to PD. So what is PSS is half QSS. So we have half. So since we are going to be getting the same quantity, so just like half Q, like leave it that way. So of QSS half Q minus 76 equals to 200 minus Q. 200 minus Q. So half Q, when Q comes in, becomes plus Q. So we're having 3 over 2 Q equals to 276. Yeah, 200 plus 76, right? Okay. Then 3 here, 1. 3 in 27, 9. 3 in 6, 2. Okay, so Q equals 2 times 92. And this is going to give us 184. Okay, so instead of 180, equivalent quantity now is 184. Okay, is the subsidy working? Yes, it is working. Why? Because the quantity, right, the equilibrium quantity after Q star SS, after subsidy was imposed, has increased, and that's what we are supposed to experience when subsidy is being imposed. So what now is the price that the consumers are paying? So again, the demand is touching the new supply. That arrow is important. Touching the new supply. So what I'll just do is we go to the old demand, and then put this 184 inside of it. So to get our P. So from that, PD is already PD is this. So we just have P since PD equals 200 minus 200 minus QD. So yeah, our price of C as after this thing is going to be 200 minus 184, and that will be 16 naira. So the price that consumers are paying will be 16 naira. Is it making sense with the theory? Yes. So consumers are benefiting, so they are getting plus 4. Consumers are getting plus 4 of the subsidy. So they are not getting the entire subsidy. They are like the price that consumers are paying is not reducing by the entire amount of the subsidy. Right? So the same thing for tax. The price that the consumers were paying did not reflect the entire tax. So it was shared. The burden was shared. So here, to the benefits are going to be shared between consumers and the producers. So how do we get the price that producers are receiving? We trace this to the old supply. Okay, to the old supply. So what was the old supply? Old supply is to get PS. Recall that here QS equals to let me say to get PSS, like QS equals 140 plus 2P, or have I used PS at all? Let me just call it PS, since ordinary P stands for quantity supply, um, stands for price of stuff that was supplied. So yeah, PS is now going to be like the subsidized, the price that sellers are receiving, right, after subsidy was imposed. So we have this. So now QS, since we are looking at equilibrium now, so QS equals Q SS star equals 184. Quantity supply is equal to the quantity supplied after subsidy. So we are now going to be having 184 equals 140 plus 2P. So 2P equals 44, then P equals 22 naira. So which follows theory? Because if consumers are benefiting plus 4, then producers should be getting plus 3, remaining plus 2. Okay, so when we do it, this is plus 2. Yeah, so that's how to get, you know, that. So now you see that producers are receiving a higher price, then they are also able to like supply more to the market. Consumers are also able to get more product, right? And then they pay lesser price, but the price that they pay does not reflect the entire subsidy, right? But then they are bigger beneficiaries here because they are getting a O4. So I think from here the demand cover to be like is it inelastic? I'm not even very sure, but I'm thinking that it should be inelastic. Like since the consumers are benefiting more from the product, right? I don't know the answer to that. Like right now, I'm just thinking that it should be inelastic. Okay, because is it elastic for them to get four, a whole four benefits? Is it elastic? I don't know. I don't know. That can be an assignment. Let's just try to research around that. If consumers are benefiting more from a subsidy, does that mean the elasticity of demand is it elastic or inelastic? Something like that. Let's just try to research more on that. Um, okay. So, more than how then do we get the revenue? So to get the entire subsidy now, since this is what consumers are paying 16, right? And then producers have to receive like 20. This is what consumers are paying now. So the entire subsidy, what the government has to pay or paid, whatever, for the subsidy is going to be 4. 22 minus 16, which is 6. 6 multiplied by 184. Yeah, 6 multiplied by 184. So that's going to be the amount of subsidy. 6 multiplied by 184. So like we said, the entire subsidy, so subsidy in this case will be equal to what we got here, 6, like does area be rectangle again? 6 multiplied by, then the length is 184. 184. Okay, so 6 times 4 is 24. 4 keep 2. 6 times 8 is 40 plus that 250. 0 keep 5. 6 times 1 is 1 plus 5 11. So 1104 naira. Naira. Then what is the revenue? The revenue of the producer is not just the subsidy. So the total revenue of the producer, total revenue of producer is going to be 16 that the consumers are paying multiplied by 184, then plus the subsidy, right? 16 multiplied by 184, like revenue is P times Q. P times Q, which is 16 multiplied by 184 is the one that consumers are paying. Then the government is also paying a part of that price, the subsidy. So 16 multiplied by 184. I can't do that one. Okay, 1840. 10 times 184. 1840 plus 1104. 1840 plus 1104. So 4492. So total revenue is equal to naira 2944. So that's the total revenue. So what we didn't do was that initially we didn't calculate total revenue before subsidy. So that should be an assignment. So go back, calculate total revenue before subsidy. So the assignment, where can I even write that? Okay, so assignments. One, calculate um, percentage change in total revenue after tax. So you do that one first. Then two, you do the same thing. Calculate the percentage change in TR after subsidy. So we've already done the tax, whatever. So you just look at calculate your TR before the tax, then the TR after the tax, calculate it, do the percentage change. Then for subsidy, TR after subsidy, you've already gotten it 2944. So just do the percentage change with what do you call it now? With the former guy. Uh, wait, 16 times. Oh, this is not. I'm not done. 16 times 1 is 4. That was when I gave us 2944. So 2944 plus 2944. I don't know. 2944. Sorry. Plus 1104. Okay. So then TR equals to 4 plus 4, 8. 4 plus 0, 4. 9 plus 1, 10. Then 4. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I almost did a mistake. So this price plus subsidy 4048. Okay, so that's it. Thank you. Bye bye.